Vladimir Putin is one of the most powerful and controversial leaders in modern history. His ambitions extend far beyond Ukraine. His goal is to reshape global power in Russia's favor. But how does he plan to do it? And what does it mean for the rest of the world? Let's break down Putin's long-term strategy, his geopolitical ambitions, and the potential consequences of his actions. To understand Putin's vision, we need to look at his three main objectives. 1. Putin sees NATO as a direct threat to Russia's security. His goal? Stop its expansion and divide Western alliances. He supports populist movements, political interference, and cyber attacks to create instability in the US and Europe. 2. Putin believes Ukraine should not exist as an independent state. He wants to turn it into a vassal state, like Belarus. Even if the war slows down, Russia will likely use political and economic pressure to control Ukraine in the future. 3. Russia is strengthening ties with China, Iran, North Korea, and other anti-Western nations. These relationships could create a new global power bloc that challenges Western influence. By trading oil, weapons, and technology, Russia gains strategic partners that help counter U.S. sanctions and pressure. To understand why Putin is doing this, we need to look at history. Putin called the fall of the Soviet Union the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the 20th century. When the USSR collapsed, Russia lost 14 former Soviet republics, including Ukraine. The 1990s were a time of economic disaster. Russia had to rely on Western financial institutions. To Putin, this was humiliating. That's why his entire strategy is about restoring Russia's power and challenging Western influence. Putin isn't just using military force. He's playing a long game with multiple strategies. 1. Russia's invasion of Ukraine was meant to be a quick victory, but it has turned into a long, bloody war. Despite sanctions, Russia is adapting, using economic and military resources to continue the fight. Even if the war ends, Russia will never fully accept Ukraine's independence. 2. Russia has been accused of interfering in U.S. elections, European politics, and global conflicts. Cyber attacks, misinformation campaigns, and supporting extremist movements are part of his strategy to divide and weaken democracies. 3. Russia uses energy and resources as weapons. For example, cutting off gas supplies to Europe to create pressure. It's also shifting trade toward China and India, reducing reliance on the West. One of the biggest wild cards in this situation is Donald Trump. Trump has signaled that he wants a quick resolution to the Ukraine war. If the U.S. reduces military aid to Ukraine, it could force Ukraine into a weaker negotiating position, benefiting Russia. European leaders worry that if Trump returns to power, the U.S. might step back, leaving NATO to handle Russia alone. This uncertainty plays right into Putin's hands. Russia thrives on instability. So what happens now? Even if the Ukraine war slows down, Russia will continue using hybrid warfare, political pressure, cyber attacks, and economic manipulation. Some experts believe Putin could target other former Soviet states, like Moldova, Georgia, or even parts of the Baltics. The West will have to decide, stand firm against Russia or negotiate a fragile peace. One thing is clear, Putin's ambitions go far beyond Ukraine. The question is, how far will he go?